Hey guys, I'm Chad Hoover with Kayak Bass Fishing. Today I'm going to show you how to attach braided line to a bait caster. All right guys, so there's a lot of ways to do this and everybody thinks their way is the right way. So I'm going to show you my way, and it might not be your way, and it doesn't make it the wrong way, and it doesn't make my way the right way, and it doesn't make your way the wrong way. So go ahead and save yourself the trouble of posting up in the comments about how much better your way is than my way, because this is my way. So I'm sharing with you my way, and hopefully it can become your way. But if you don't like my way, then do it your way. But here's my way. So here's how we're going to do this. I like to take the side plate off of my bait caster and take the spool out. Go through your worm gear and come out this side plate of your reel. Just like so. Once you do that, you're going to make a double overhand knot. All a double overhand knot is a knot where you take the tag end of the line through the hole twice. This is going to serve as your knot that locks your reel or locks your line to your spool. What I like to do is cut that off about 1/4 inch. You can use these Gerber defenders, or you can use nail clippers, and you're going to grab that line and skin it. That's going to come into play in a minute, and I'll tell you why. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to make an overhand knot on the line itself, just like so. You're going to pull that until it hits the knot, and then what that creates is known as a slip knot or an arbor knot in fancy knot terms. Then you're going to take your spool, you're going to go to the center spool, and you're going to pull that down until that line gets right up against the base of the spool. Now, the ticket to this is to make 2 half hitches on each side, and you're going to capture that little braided tag end that we made. So here's how that works. Take your line, make a half hitch on one side and bring that to the knot. Then you're going to go the other side and make a half hitch, and then you're going to bring that to the knot. See how that cinches up? Now, if you notice here, I'm going to put a little pressure on it and I'm going to start to cinch it down. It can still roll a little bit. So the way that I really get this thing to lock is I do another half hitch on the first side, and then I'll do another half hitch on the other side. Once I do that, and I take that line and I work it back to center, put my finger on it, put a little pressure on it, now that knot's not going anywhere. That's nice and locked in place against the spool. So the other reason that people do braided to mono, or they put tape or something on the spool, is to keep it from slipping. The second reason they do it is it saves braid. And braid is relatively expensive. So I'm going to put this spool back in here. I'm going to put my side plate back on, and then I'm going to show you just basically how to spool up your line. Whoops, put that plate. Come on. There we go. Nope, still not there. This is supposed to be smoother for the video, Chad. Oh, there's my issue. Ha ha ha. You go from the top, not from the bottom on loose reels. And if you're a loose pro like me, you would know that, or if you're supposed to be. Next thing I'm gonna do is I like to just take that spool, and I like to spool it on there without the rod. And I just set it in the gap of my tailgate. Anything that's gonna hold that thing in place, you can put a rod through it. And I put a little friction with my finger right against the worm gear. And then I watch the spool to make sure it's stacking nice and even on my spool. And I'm running that line through my hands to keep even tension or pressure against it. And I'm just going to reel that back and forth. All right, so you're going to want to reel this until you get it within about 1/8 of an inch of the edge of the spool. And you're just going to cut off some extra line, just like so. And then you're going to feed this into your rod. Now, let's talk about saving money on braid, because that's the #1 reason that people like to back their spool. The #1 way you can save money on braid is to buy your braid in bulk. I'm a big fan of these 1,500 yard spools from Cortland. Their master braid has become one of my favorite braids of all time, if not my favorite braid of all time. And anytime you're gonna store bulk fishing line, or if you just have a small spool, let me show you a little trick. Come around your line, do the same thing that I did before, and just tie a double overhand knot against the base of the spool. You follow me? I know this sounds complicated, but it's not. You're basically just going to tie a double overhand knot, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to go around and around the spool until that tightens up, just like so. Now you're not gonna open up your toolbox or your tackle box and have a big twisted, mangled mess, and you're not gonna waste a lot of braid. So the number one way to save braid is to buy in bulk, because you don't end up with a piece of spool that you can't use on your 200 and 300 yard spools. And then you wanna make sure that you tie your stuff off when you're done so you don't waste braid. Now, let's talk about my number one tip for saving money on braid, and that is to do a spool to spool. So when I've got old spools, I will take the spool out of one reel and I will tie this into it and I will run it to the other spool. So if this wasn't a brand new reel and I had a reel that needed to be flipped, I would actually just take this line and do what I just did, but instead of using the bulk spool, I will use the spool off of my fishing line and I'll reel it onto another reel. What that does is that puts this old braid that's on top on the bottom and the new braid that's on the bottom of the other reel on top. You flip your braid, you save money, you save a lot of time, and you maximize the benefit of using fresh braid. I like the balance of the spool better when it's all braid versus mono. Now all you gotta do is throw this on your favorite rod, run your line through there, tie on your favorite lure, and go fishing. I'm Chad Hoover with Kayak Bass Fishing. That's my tip on saving money on braid and how to set up braided line on a casting reel. I'm gonna do another video on how to set it up on a spinning reel, the same basic concept, but I'm gonna show you how to reel it onto a spinning reel without pre-twisting the line, where you're gonna end up with wind knots and tangles and things like that a lot of folks experience with braided line on spinning reels. And I think most of it starts by putting it on the reel improperly in the first place. So I'm Chad Hoover with Kayak Bass Fishing. Hope you like this video. Smash that thumbs up if you do. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you'll know each and every time I release a new video. The other problem that I hear quite a bit is like, man, you know what I just did? I just did what you can never do, which is to not put your line through your spool first. So let's go ahead and cut that off of there, and we'll do that one more time. I've seen this done quite a few times, and to be honest with you, it's probably the first time I've done it myself. But you, to do this right, you actually have to go through the spool first.